One of the issues you have to deal with in lower league saves, especially smaller country lower league saves, is just that the quality of staff is not all that great, especially at the beginning. But then every once in a while, something happens that just causes you to go, "What the heck? I'm going to totally jump on this." And that happened when I was searching for a new chief scout, and Gerardo Parada came up. He's a scout. He's my chief scout. He has a photo. He's from Mexico. He's 42 years old. He's 12 player ability, 11 player potential, balanced personality. Prefers my 4-3, the 4-3-3 I'm playing now. From Mexico was available, and he's getting 130 pounds a week. That was my initial offer to him, and he totally jumped at it. Now, granted, I'm paying a decent sum of money for him to learn Macedonian, but at the same time, he is heads and tails better than any other scout I had coming to me saying, "Hey, I want to be your chief scout." I mean, we're talking about 6'6", 7'7" sort of thing, you know. And the same thing goes for coaching as well. If we look at the coaching staff, you know, 10s are about the best you can get. Boban Babunski, who is 11s for the most part, and you know that I'm okay with that. You know, that's why when I created myself as a head coach, when I created Alexander Kotsov as a head coach, I went towards the mental, technical, tactical areas because it's hard to find good coaches with good attributes at the lower levels in those three categories. But it's you can find good attacking defensive fitness coaches at the lower levels as well. Although, admittedly, do we have a fitness coach? Yeah, our fitness coach is not the best. How on earth? I'm gonna have to wait a day, or I may just have to confirm it. Jeez, Jellico. Nope, I gotta have to wait a day. So, it's 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 definitely something you have to consider and take into account when you're starting a save like this. Now, this save is planned to go on until the next iteration of FM comes out. It could be 5 or 6 months. It's April right now, so that timeline works out. So we have ourselves a decent amount of time to get to where we need to go. And the question is, are we going to be able to do it? And so far, that answer appears to be yes. After beating Kozuf and Voska Sport, we beat Orid 1-0, thanks to a Darko Masevsky goal in the 66th minute. We beat Velestia 2-0, a Darko Masevsky goal, a Div Volovsky goal in right before the end of the half. He is one of my youth players, a winger who is getting a little bit better. We'll take a look at the training here in just a second. We beat Kadino 2-1, Glisic a goal on a penalty kick, Glisevsky a goal in the 78th minute, and then against Base in 1976. This was interesting. We absolutely outshot them. We had an on target, we had an XG of 2.66, and we couldn't break through their defense. It was a 0-0 draw, and they had a player sent off in the 21st minute. So the last 69 minutes of the game, we were man up, and we just could not get it done. So today we're playing Tikves in the Macedonian Cup 8th round, and then Silex. What I need to do one of these days is just sit down and go through how to pronounce all these names. Silex is not the best squad. They're actually at the lower levels, and chances are what I've started doing in a couple of games, especially when we're playing the teams that are ranked a little bit lower, is start some of the youngsters. So like a couple games ago, I started my 16-year-old striker, and he gave me a 6-8, which is okay. So training wise, what I've done for the moment, and what I started the squad out doing was the vast majority of them were playing their positions, and then it was strength passing, the strength training. If it wasn't strength training, it was endurance training. And then you give it a couple months, then players start complaining about, okay, we're not getting this type of training we want, we're not getting the type of training we need. And then we go through and we start switching them around. So, like as an example, Martin Ilievsky thought the individual training he was assigned to wasn't going to produce any more results. He was on endurance training. I switched him to attacking movement, sort of thing. And this is just something we react to during the course of the season. Now, sometimes I'll keep players on something should they, even if they're complaining about it, because I'm still seeing improvements from it. So right now it is October, probably beginning of December is when we'll take a snapshot and compare it to the spreadsheet. That'll probably be next episode, because I think there's a little bit more behind the scenes work I'm going to have to do. So he was released. We'll go forward today. We got the Tikvis game coming up. I did bring 3 players in on trial, and I signed them. We'll take a look at them here in a minute. See if I can't get a fitness coach. Did I have another fitness coach that I just totally missed on? Huh. I wonder. Okay, can we increase the number of coaches we have just by? They're probably going to say no because they're in the middle of a takeover. Well, there's rumors of a takeover. The board has been, oh no, there's no takeover underway. There's guys saying, yeah, we're bidding for the squad sort of thing. It's been frustrating, is what it is. So at least our one saving grace is that for the moment it's not a transfer window, so nothing is being held up there. Rejected. Okay, we knew that was going to happen, just simply because of the money issues we have. And we only have like an $800 payroll left. The players here on trading. Baysar Gajufi is a 17-year-old. He's still on trial. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm not quite sure why those haven't filled out. Usually 2 to 3 weeks of trial, you know everything you need to know about the player. He's got some issues. Strength and balance. His bravery is a little bit on the low side. His composure is a little bit on the low side. His decision making is probably a little bit on the low side. Some of his other technicals are a little bit on the low side, but he has decent technique, good vision, decent work rate, decent off the ball, decent passing, okay first touch, good dribbling. I mean, anything in the blue I would consider good. Not the best crosser, but again, 17 years old, and he's available on a free. I think we signed him for 130 pounds. Now everyone I'm showing you now is going to come in January. Mike Sikarsky is 28 years old. He is probably the best player I found that is willing to come to us. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, a defensive left back. We need some help there, if only because the guy I have playing defensive left back right now is probably better suited to playing defensive right back. A solid player. Doesn't exactly excel anywhere, but he's not bad other than finishing. And really, you wouldn't expect a defensive left back, especially who's pretty much a defender. He's a wing back defender, a fullback defender. I'll probably play him wing back automatic to be a good finisher. But for this level of competition, he's pretty darn good. And he'll probably be the most. He's coming in at 425 pounds a week. He'll be the highest paid player on the squad if he does agree to sign. And then Baysar, we look at Baysar Kajufi. Mike Sikarsky. Okay, who's the other one? There's one more. Christian Stefanovsky. Christian Stefanovsky. Can play the right side. That's one of the big reasons I looked at him. 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 24 years old. Again, one of those players who is okay, but not great. He does have a couple weaknesses in his game. He's not the best corner, not the best header. Technically he has some holes, but they're holes in areas that don't really affect his game. The dribbling could be better. The finishing could be better, especially if he's going to be playing up top. The passing is okay. He's got good aggression, good decision making, the okay leadership, the off the ball, the vision. They're not bad. They could be a lot worse. They could be a lot better. But for what I'm getting, paying for him, I think I bid 200 pounds a week, something like that, to get him in. I don't think it's a risk. I mean, it's low risk. I'm not going to say high reward, but a decent reward. So Sikarsky is going to sign. He's going to be a star player starting in January, 425 pounds a week. I don't remember putting the minimum fee release clause on him, but okay, I will take that. Jufi signing, 110 pounds a week, future contract. So this is the other shirt I got. Okay, Vardar t-shirt. I really like it. I wear it a lot, actually. The only drawback is that it's black and George is white, so, after about 8 hours, it looks white. Christian hasn't signed. Okay, but Sikarsky signed. I should be able to go to him. He's a future transfer. This may only be for youth players. There is an option. I remember it from, and it could be a league thing too, where a player you've signed but isn't eligible to play yet can still come in and essentially be here on a trial basis and make him available. It might not be an option for this league. The one thing I have not been able to do is fix the issue with the tactics screen in the game. I've done something to that XML and I don't know what I've done. I may just have to copy it over from the original one and bring it back in. You know what we're going to do? We're going to switch these two guys around. We're going to make him an inside forward. Actually, no, we're going to make him an inside forward on the attack. Make Blasevsky a winger on attack. We're going to have Gasevsky in goal, Glishik, Stoyanov, Mikoski, and Ritsetsky as the back four, Misevsky as the ball-winning midfielder at the defensive midfield position, Piev and Nikolov as the center mids, Volkovsky and Blazevsky as the wingers, and Grozdanovsky as the striker up top. He is only good for about 45 minutes, though, so we need to double-check this real quick. We're going to bring Rykov on and replace Illich. Center mid replacement. Really don't want Alevsky there. Well, it's going to have to be Milan Vadik. He's 16 years old. No, I got Potovsky there. I missed that earlier. Vadik actually got game time a couple of games ago. He was the one I was talking about earlier. Yeah, Blazevsky. He breaks it wide right. He's fouled. Quick cross in, and Nikolov with the goal. That wasn't a header, though. One of the other players, that was a quick kick, too. One of the other players went up, totally misjudged the header. Fell right at Nikolov's foot, and he just towed it in. Zevsky, again on the right. Breaks into the box, pulls it up. Back out, Misevsky at the top. Oh, a screaming of a shot. Domovsky does well to block it. Blazevsky crosses it in, knocked away, but Glishik should get it. He gets it. Well, he tapped it in, and the highlight ended. That was interesting. Angelov lumps it forward. Stoyanov heads it down. Piev. Back to Miskovsky. Back up to Piev. He gets it over to Nikolov. Grozdanovsky. Misevsky taps it up. Volkovsky doesn't have any help. He stops. Nikolov's there. And he squeaks it by near post. Past a diving keeper. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I thought it looked like the keeper should have had that. Nice pass by Blazevsky. Oh, the keeper should have had that. Nikolov did really, that's a brace of goals for him. First half hour of the match. And that is halftime. A 2-0 lead. 8 shots, 3 on target. Not a commanding possession percentage, but it's more than enough to get the job done at the moment. For whatever reason, Tikfest is just not doing a lot. Blazevsky again on the corner kick. Miskovsky's there. Back and forth. He gets his own rebound. He puts it in for his 5th goal of the season off a set piece. Nice recovery by Miskovsky. All his goals have come off set pieces this season. Okay, we're 60 minutes in. Nikolov's on 2 goals, but he's also at 62%, so we are going to take him off. We'll bring Portalka on, and we'll get Ritsetsky off just because he's on the yellow, and bring on Rykov. Ritsetsky, Portalka, Glishik. Portalka, back to Glishik. Glishik to Piev. Piev to Misevsky. Misevsky all the way back to Stoyanov. Gets the ball to Angelov. Oh, nope. Angelov took the ball away. Alzate running forward. Long pass. Doncev on the left. And he skies his shot. We'll come off the attacking and go to positive. Misevsky again. Miskovsky, another goal off the set piece. That is just insane. What's also insane, if you're paying attention to the squad's fatigue level. Oh, and Blazevsky, another goal. All my older players went from about 70% to 55% in the space of 10 minutes. Blazevsky to Piev, or to Portalka. Beats Blazevsky, turns around, just absolutely blows it by the keeper. Their keeper has not had a good game. Piev steals the ball away. Grozdanovsky, back to Misevsky. Piev, Grozdanovsky, feeds Volkovsky, over to Blazevsky. Okay, their keeper is just hands made of stone. How on earth that got by him? Oh, it didn't count because he was offsides. Yeah, they were. But yeah, the keeper should have had that. I mean, come on. A 5-0 thumping. Nikolov, a brace of goals. Miskovsky, a brace of goals off the set pieces. Blazevsky, a goal. 17 shots, 9 on target. A very, very good match. Let's save the game here in a minute. Figure out who we're playing next. Miskovsky was stellar. Save the game here. Quarterfinal draw today. Academic Pandev is playing Shkupi. We're playing Sloga, 1934. They are recently promoted. Okay. I need to go in and change my schedules as well. These are some training schedules I downloaded from FM Scout, I want to say. One of the things I did when I was doing Palace was I really took a greater interest in setting up the schedules and that. And the more I looked around and I was creating them myself, I looked around and realized, okay, people have already done this and they've put in the time and effort to do it. So why am I? So that is why I have the downloaded schedules, and they work really well for the most part. Like an example, so this is a Sunday game, training style, custom schedules, Sunday match. So, and you have a little bit of everything. I did add in some of the set piece stuff, if only because it's really helping us. What I'll probably do every once in a while is like, okay, we're doing attacking corners there in delivery, so I'll switch this from attacking corners to defending corners. And then every once in a while, I'll switch some of these around as well. But the nice thing is that these are also the areas where the individual areas where I want the vast majority of my players to improve as well. So even though I'm not specifically training these, some of them are like on attacking movement and some of them are maybe on defensive positioning, the attributes that these concentrate on also improves the squad's numbers as well. So even though they're not training on them specifically, they're training on them enough because we're doing this enough that they'll come up. Now, they won't come up as fast as if we were training, like, say, attacking movement. But at the same time, these also train more areas than some of the specific role training or attribute training that you can do. So we've got Selects, and what I need to do one of these days is sit down and just listen to how all these teams are announced. We got Selects coming up. They're not the best squad. I want to say they're 7th in the league. We probably start a fairly rotated side. I mean, for the moment, we got a commanding lead. We've only drawn one game. We haven't lost any. We're 7 points ahead of Gostov, and we're doing well. Miskovsky leads us with 6 goals. Blazevsky an 8.02 rating. Piev and Blazevsky each with 4 assists. Stoyanov a 96% pass completion rating. Blazevsky 4 players in the match. And Dovsky has 3 yellow cards. I got a couple of players on yellows. So money-wise, we're doing okay for the moment. But I'm waiting to see what the transfer window is going to hold. I don't know that we're going to move a lot of players. I'm not worried about the January transfer window. I'm worried about the summer transfer window. And one of the things I need to do in January is set up a short list by age of all the players who are ending their contracts, who aren't being resigned. So maybe I can get a jump on them. Because I think that's how we're going to improve the squad, at least from a country point of view. I can only sign North Macedonian players, which means that they have to come from within our organization, and I expect our youth intakes to be fairly decent, not golden generations every year, but I would expect a decent amount of 3, 4, and maybe a couple 5-star players to come through every youth intake. But one of the things I did notice when I was signing players, especially the guys I just signed, was you can only offer a maximum 2-year contract. Now, I don't know if that's a league thing or if it's a country thing. When I went back through and I checked the league rules, there wasn't anything in here saying you can only sign them to a 2-year contract. Maybe just talk about loan players and things like that. So what I'm thinking is, and I could be proven wrong here, is that players are only signing 2 or 3-year contracts. And I don't know if it's going to be like England, where if a player's in the last 6 months of his contract, you can negotiate with him before his contract ends to see if he wants to join your club when his contract does end. We'll find that out here in the near future. It's going to be one of those. It's a learning experience. It's one of the reasons I like playing some of these not so big countries, is that they have their own unique rules and regulations, and it's pretty fun to kind of figure it out. So Vardar was my youth striker who I started the one game. He is really improving. Now this is just, we're going to take a look at his training here. He's a poacher on attack. He's training quickness, okay, which means acceleration. If I hover over this, is it going to tell me? If we go here, it'll tell us, which means he's specifically training pace and acceleration. So his pace has gone up, his acceleration has gone up as well. But all of these other arrows are due to the weekly training he's doing. So I actually am planning, if he doesn't have a youth game, I am planning on starting him this next match. So you know what? Let us get to that match, and I'll be back with that in just a bit. So this is what I was actually, and we're right back. This is what I was talking about earlier. I got players complaining that they think they'd be doing, they're unhappy with their training. They think should be doing some more whatever training. So they want to be doing more quickness training. I will go in and just change their focus to whatever they want to be training on. And then if I get a report saying, hey, did I already change Glisic? Yeah, if I get a report saying, "Hey, this training isn't having any effect on them," I'll change them to something else, unless I can tell that their numbers are still improving. No, it's an educated guessing game. You're looking at players and you're looking at their quality and you're thinking, how much more can they improve? And that's one of the reasons I want to go to the spreadsheet as well, because I can go back and say, okay, 3 months ago they were at this. Now I know there's a way to do that in the game. There's a way that you can go in and set up and look at improvements and be like, and it'll tell you, okay, 3 months ago it was this. I don't know that it's a 3 months thing. And to be honest, with this skin, I'm not quite sure where it is, but that's a me issue. And so we have to, that's one of the reasons I want to go back to the spreadsheet. He's 19 years old. He's an attacking midfielder on the right. He's not the best crosser. He's a good dribbler. Acceleration. Discuss a new trait. Okay, the fact my coach did not disagree with that means he thinks it's okay. Stefanovski is close to signing. 275 pounds a week. 24-year-old winger. I will accept that. Now, for the moment, that is going to take up probably 3/4 of our available salary. We have 900 pounds available, so Sidic, totally blanking on his name. The defensive back was 425 pounds. He's 275 pounds. The other guy was 110. So if we are going to bring more players in, that means more players are going to be leaving. And that's one of the things. Okay, this is where, okay, allow trial until joins permanently. That popped up for him, but it didn't pop up for the other guys. Why is that? So if I go to joining Vardar, development, transfer, allow trial until joins permanently. Okay. There must be something within when they sign and how they sign that they can actually join the club. But with their trial, at least they're getting training with it'll be the under 18s. But still, I'm totally okay with that. Everything with a pinch of salt. We have been sharp in training. I think they're equally important to the fans. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Sports Interactive really wants to screw with FM players, they'll randomize the answers. That'll force you to pay attention to what you're looking at, what you're doing. Wow. So there was an under 18s game yesterday. Now our under 18s squad is just absolutely killing it as well. 10 wins, 1 draw, 31 points. We're going to start Endosky instead of Misevsky. We're going to start Partalko instead of Piev. Why his numbers are going down, I'm not quite sure. Strength and quickness. I'm going to change him to endurance. You know what? That's also why we're not going to start him. Piev. Start Blasevsky. We're going to put Vodek on the bench in place of Petkovsky. Grozdanovsky is still only good for about 45 to 60 minutes of the match. So, Buyevsky. Distance, sky's just a little high. Elazi. Kristevsky gets it to Kosev. All off the post. Makovsky to Rosetsky. He feeds Blazevsky. And the highlight ends. We dodged a bullet there. Koloff picked up a yellow card. What's a yellow card fest? Not exactly an offensive game. We've had 4 shots, 2 on target. They've had 2 and none. 6 yellow cards between the 2 squads at halftime. That is just, I don't like what I just saw from this team. We are going to draw because it's been an absolutely horrible game for us. We have no highlights this second half. And a 0-0 draw and freaking 12 yellow cards. 8 shots, 5 on target, and Dovsky was player of the match. I don't know how or why. Maybe because he had the most fouls on the squad. Decent possession advantage. Completed almost a lot of our passes. Won more tackles. 1 more headers. 4 shots in the first half. 4 shots in the second half, and we walk out of there with a 0-0 draw. I'm embarrassed by that performance. Plus, the ref may have been a little bit yellow card. But on the other hand, it didn't really hurt us in the standings. It's 9 unbeaten for us. So we're doing well in that regards. Unless the bottom just absolutely falls out, I think we're gonna be winning the league unless the bottom just falls out, and that's entirely a possibility. It's FM; anything could happen. Anybody who's played this game knows that. So we are gonna come back for probably. Well, we're gonna come back for Sloga for sure because that's the Cup quarterfinal, and it's gonna be Voska Sport or Orid. Probably Orid. Because Voska Sport's 6th. So that's what we have to look forward to. So, and when is that? And then what we'll do is when the January window opens, we don't have any games in December. We got 1 game in December. We don't have any games in January, and we have games starting in February. That's when the transfer window is going to start. So what I'll do is we'll play Sloga and Orid, and then the episode after that, that'll be the January transfer window. We'll come back for Cadino and Besa unless one of the Cup final games comes in here. We'll find that out next episode here, and go through the spreadsheet, see what's going on there. So a very good game against Tikfest. The team was absolutely on fire. Makovsky on set pieces has just been an absolute beast. 34 years old, 6'1", 13 jumping reach, 13 heading. All of his goals have been on set pieces, headers, except the one where he headed it, it got blocked, it fell at his foot, and he put it in for the goal. So, but the disconcerting thing is he's 34 years old and physically he's falling off. Now, as a center back, I'm not too upset with that, but at the same time, it's one of those things that we're gonna have to replace him eventually. And for the moment, it's just a bunch of youth players. So we go here, go here, go here. So I mean, there's a decent amount of potential on the squad. It's just that they're all really young. So Masevsky, they're saying is 5-star now. That's 5 stars within the Macedonian second league. So take that with a grain of salt. So Ristov, Vaj, I should probably start getting him some games. Bartolko has games. Nikolov has games. So Grossanowski is my starting striker. He has no goals, but then again, he's also been injured as well. So we got some work to do. One of the things I'm also going to do is go into the scouting, player search, and then probably do something like, so transfer status, any loan status, any contract status, any. 16 years old to 16 years old, nationality is Macedonian, second nationality is Macedonian. So these are all youth players born in 2004. So if I go back, I go here, I go down, I go add to short list. Actually, I need to create a short list. Short list, default, new short list, 2004. Okay, I got some 15-year-olds here too, but we're still going to put them in the 2004 list. Do that, do that. Okay. We're going to add them to the 2004 shortlist. My scouting also has youth appearances and caps. So going forward, that's probably how we will start separating them out. Also, take a look at some of the teams they're on, how the teams they're on are doing. So, like as an example, we go back up to the first league at the moment. Well, the other thing we need to look at is teams that also have good training facilities and so on and so forth. So that's something I'll have to look at online. And then we'll just prioritize the players coming out of those clubs. It doesn't mean that there aren't some players showing up at other areas, but like as an example, Academic at Pandev, great training facilities, good youth facilities, average youth recruitment, good academy coaching. So they're obviously a club to keep an eye on who's coming through their system. So it's turning into an interesting save. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. It's a different sort of scouting than I'm used to, and I'm really looking forward to it. So a very good result against Tikvis, a not so good result against Silex. We should have won that game hands down. Freaking 12 yellow cards per side. That was just insane. You know, and just the variation between the guys and their ratings is just, you know, ratings like that, you would expect us to have at least scored one goal, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So, you know, we'll come back for Saga and Orid, and then, as I talked about earlier, in January, we'll take a snapshot of the squad, see how they've improved, and we'll go from there. So if you did like what you've seen and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticism, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. Let me know what you think about my scouting and training plans. Are they feasible? Are they going to give me the best results that I'm looking for? Is it too much work for not enough return? We'll find out. My name is FM22. I thank you for watching.